Hey guys, Harley Q here, and today we are talking about helpful hints to game collecting. But before we start, I'm going to do a quick little plug for myself and also a helpful hint for you. If you want more information on this kind of stuff and you want to just talk about it, you can always find me at twitch.tv/harleyqs_playtime. I stream Friday to Tuesday. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I stream a lot. So you can always come into my channel and just have a quick discussion with me about your love of video games if you happen to be on Twitch. And you can also just leave a comment below and just tell me how amazing I am. I know that I'm fabulous. So let's just go into the video. Now, a lot of people tend to ask when game collecting, what are the specific consoles and games that you should be searching for, and what is the go-to thing? You could do this based off of what's the most expensive thing, or you could do this based off of what are things that you want. When it comes to game collecting, I collect for everything. I've said that several times. This is just because I love all different types of genres. I love all different types of games. Games. I love all different types of just systems. So I collect for everything. But there's always a but. I mainly go for PlayStation 2. I will collect for other things. I generally buy, if I want a certain game, I generally buy it for the PlayStation 2. If a PlayStation 2 version does exist, it's generally what I go for unless the other system's cheaper. I've done that for several things. I've done it for Silent Hill 2. It's actually cheaper to own the Xbox version than it is to own the PlayStation 2. I will fact check that. But I think sometimes with game collecting, we kind of get caught up in what's the hottest thing, and you could say the hottest thing right now is definitely GameCube because the prices have jumped up so much since the whole world literally exploding on itself. So I guess if you said what's the system to collect for, you could say GameCube, but personally it's what brings you nostalgia and what would ultimately bring you happiness. Cheap systems to buy for if you're just starting off a game room would probably be a system like the Xbox, the original Xbox. Those games are generally pretty cheap to buy for, and you can usually find people who are just selling them and trying to get rid of them. I actually, last month, I bought a huge lot of games. You guys saw, if you saw my July pickup video of all the games that I bought for the original Xbox. As I said, PlayStation 2 is usually another go-to one to go to. Anyway, it's a good one to go to because the PlayStation sold millions of systems. So a lot of people had them. They were like they literally sold the most systems ever. So you're going to have people who just have the large collections of games that they just collected and kind of whatever, and sometimes these people just want to get rid of them. I've actually gotten games for free because people are just trying to throw them out and they just don't want to deal with selling them. But it's what makes you happy, ultimately. You can try and collect for the one system that is cheap and is the go-to one to get. There are a couple. The Wii's pretty cheap, and as we switch over from one generation to the next, usually the generation before that, so Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, those prices tend to drop because people are just trying to get rid of their stuff, and they're trying to make money for the newer systems. So these are things that you could probably easily pick up too. I know that within the last 3 or 4 months, basically when they started to really announce these new systems coming out, I've drastically grown both my PlayStation 3 and my Xbox 360 collection. So again, it's food for thought when you're starting to think of game collecting. You could get these things at yard sales and stuff. Same thing with the Wii. Like I said, everyone had a Wii pretty much. You didn't know anybody who didn't have a Wii. So grab yourself a Wii. And if you don't feel like buying a GameCube, buy an original Wii. They play GameCube games. So you can buy GameCube games and just play them on the Wii. Make sure you have a Wii controller though. Not a Wii controller. Make sure you have a GameCube controller. That would help drastically. Some other games that are actually pretty cheap to buy for, or some other systems that are pretty cheap to buy for, are the Game Gear. I just got mine a couple months ago, so I only actually have one game for it, and I'm really excited to grow that collection because from what I hear, those games are generally pretty cheap. A good one to also collect for is Game Boy, specifically Game Boy Color. because you can play Game Boy Colors and Game Boys on a Game Boy Color. Does that make sense? If you have a Game Boy Color, you can play both Game Boy and Game Boy Colors. But if you really want to be that awesome, get yourself a Game Boy SP. That backlit-ness, perfection. Definitely something I highly recommend. Handhelds are pretty cheap to buy for. 3DSs, you can usually see people who are getting rid of 3DSs for moderately cheap, and they actually sell pretty high on eBay, so if you're looking to flip them, that's a good system to flip. You can always find yourself, especially a DS Lite. A lot of people have DS Lites, and those screens are pretty nice on a DS Lite, so don't, undermine the system, because it's, not the newest system. Systems I'm currently really avoiding, unless I run into them. Like I said, I am literally avoiding GameCube like it's the bubonic plague, because it's just, the prices are too high and it's too much of a competitive market and it's a hot mess.
Only the most sophisticated gaming experience ever created by humans, and it's spherical. Spherical!
I am trying to get games. Like, if I run into them, I will grab them, but I'm not searching for games on eBay and looking yin and yang back there, just having a little slumber party. But yeah, I'm not going out and searching for these particular games and systems. If I run into them, I run into them. So again, this is just more food for thought. I think it's important that you don't need to have super expensive games in order to have a game collection. I only have a handful of games that are probably actually really worth something. Most of my games that are expensive, because I'm cheap, are $30 and below. I do have one or two games that are moderately expensive. I've had them since they were released, and if I bought them, it's because I really wanted them, like Conkers. I really wanted Conkers. You can't have an N64 and not have Conkers Bad Fur Day. The two go hand in hand. The price dropped below 100. I actually bought it for 60, and thank God I did, because it's now back up to like 80. Again, I'll fact check that. There's so many things that you can buy. You can stick to one system, or you can collect for everything. Like I said, I collect for everything because I love everything. I love the history of video games. I love playing video games. I love talking about video games. I like making videos about video games. I like twitching about video games. So I feel that when it comes to game collecting, we kind of get into these little boxes. We feel that people need to collect for a certain system, and you need to collect for the hot ticket items. And a lot of people ask, what are the systems that you should be collecting for when collecting? What are the games that you should be getting when collecting? What are the hot systems? What is that? And it changes. So there's going to be ones that are hot one year, and then the next year they're going to be ridiculously cheap. Right now, you could say that the GameCube is definitely the hot ticket item, at least for this year. And we don't know, maybe next year it will definitely drop over. I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand why the GameCube games are so expensive. 90% of them are ported over to the Switch. They were ported over to the Wii, to the Wii U, and then to the Switch. A little jump. So I don't understand it. I don't know, what are your opinions on this matter? What are some things that you would give some helpful hints to a first-time game collector? Is there a particular strategy that you do? Is there stuff that I'm missing? I'm sure I'm missing stuff. I'm just doing this on the fly. Make sure to leave a comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm gonna go eat a Hot Pocket because I haven't eaten anything all day. And you guys, make sure to touch your toes. Stretching is good for the spine. Okay, bye. Did you think I was lying about the Hot Pocket? I would never lie